I caught my fiancé with my maid of honor in our wedding venue on New Year's Eve, so I locked them inside and invited everyone who mattered to watch them squirm. There are moments that split your life clean in half. Mine happened on a Tuesday morning, December 31st, when I walked into the Belmont estate and found my fiancé tangled up with my best friend in the bridal suite we'd reserved for our wedding 2 weeks away. Before I get into what happened next, tell me where you're watching from today. Drop your city or country in the comments because I love seeing how far these stories travel. My name is Hallie Brennan. 3 weeks ago, I was 29 years old and convinced my life was exactly where it needed to be. I worked as a physical therapist at a sports medicine clinic, helping college athletes recover from torn ligaments and overuse injuries. My fiancé, Garrett Whitmore, was 32 and worked as a commercial real estate broker, closing warehouse deals worth millions. We'd been together 4 years, engaged for 8 months. Our wedding was set for January 14th. Everything felt solid. That morning started normal. Garrett kissed me goodbye while I was still in pajamas drinking coffee. He grabbed his navy coat and said he needed to stop by the office. "Mitchell needs me to review contracts," he explained. "I'll be back by lunch." I believed him. Welcome to my channel, where I share real stories that'll keep you hooked start to finish. If you subscribe and hit that like button, it genuinely helps me create more content like this. Now let's get back to the story, because what came next changed everything. I had the day off. Around mid-morning, my maid of honor Felicity texted asking if I could meet her at our venue to finalize decoration details. Felicity and I went back 7 years to freshman year at State. She worked as a labor and delivery nurse, pulling night shifts at the hospital. Over the years, she'd become closer than family. She knew everything about me. When I pulled into the Belmont Estate parking lot, the first thing I noticed was Garrett's black Audi near the side entrance. My stomach dropped. He said he was going downtown, the opposite direction. Then I saw Felicity's silver Honda parked 3 spaces away, tucked close like they'd coordinated. Something cold crawled up my spine. I walked through the main entrance. The Belmont Estate was a restored Victorian manor with high ceilings and crystal chandeliers. We'd paid $8,500 up front for venue rental and the bridal suite. The lobby was empty. Most staff had taken the holiday off. "Felicity?" I called out. No answer. I walked toward the grand staircase. My boots made sharp sounds against marble. The air smelled like lemon polish and pine garland. Winter sunlight threw colored shadows through stained glass windows. When I reached the stairs, I heard laughter, low, intimate laughter from the second floor. Then Garrett's voice. "We need to be quick. She thinks I'm at the office." My heart stopped. I climbed slowly, gripping the handrail. My legs shook, but I kept moving. The bridal suite door was cracked open. There they were, Garrett and Felicity, on the velvet chaise lounge we'd chosen for getting ready photos, his shirt unbuttoned, her dress bunched around her waist, kissing with desperate urgency. I stood frozen. This was the room where I'd imagined getting ready with bridesmaids. This was the woman who'd helped me address invitations. This was the man who'd promised forever. Felicity pulled back, breathless. "Do you think she suspects anything?" Garrett laughed. "Hallie? No way. She's too busy obsessing over centerpieces. She doesn't have a clue." Something inside me didn't break. It hardened. I pushed the door open. They sprang apart. Garrett's face went white. Felicity gasped. "Hallie," Garrett stammered, "this isn't—" "Stay where you are." My voice came out calm, too calm. Felicity stood up fast. "Hallie, please, sit down." They both sat. I walked into the room slowly. I could see everything clearly now. The way Felicity had insisted on helping Garrett shop for his wedding band. The way his evening dinners always ran late. The way she'd asked detailed questions about my schedule. I pulled out my phone. "What are you doing?" Garrett asked, panicking. "Making a call." I walked into the hallway, pulled the door shut, and turned the old brass key still in the lock. It clicked with a satisfying sound. "Hallie!" Felicity's voice came through the wood. "You can't lock us in here." "Watch me." I slipped the key into my pocket and walked downstairs. The first call went to my younger brother, Owen. He answered, sounding half asleep. "I need you at the Belmont estate right now. Bring your camera." Owen was 26, a freelance photographer who'd agreed to shoot our wedding for free. "Just come, I'll explain when you get here." The second call went to Garrett's older brother, Colin, a corporate attorney downtown. "Colin, I need you at the Belmont estate. It's about your brother. Is Garrett okay? Physically, yes. Morally, debatable." Silence. "I'll be there in 20 minutes. The third call was hardest. Felicity's younger sister, Imogen, 26, a graphic designer who worshipped Felicity. "Imogen, I need you at the Belmont estate. It's about your sister." Her tone shifted. "Is she hurt? You need to see something." By the time I hung up, Garrett was pounding on the door upstairs. I sat on the velvet bench and waited. Owen arrived first, walking in with his camera bag. "What's the emergency?" "Follow me." We climbed the stairs. The pounding had stopped, replaced by urgent whispers. I knocked. "Garrett? Felicity? My brother's here. I'm unlocking the door, but if either of you tries to leave, I'll make this worse." Silence. I opened the door. Owen stepped inside and his jaw dropped. "You've got to be kidding." Garrett had fixed his shirt, but his hair was disheveled. Felicity had straightened her dress, but mascara tracked down her cheeks. "Hallie, please," Garrett started. "Let's talk privately." "Privately? You were with my maid of honor in our wedding venue 2 weeks before our ceremony?" Owen pulled out his camera. "That's disgusting." Within minutes, Colin arrived. He took one look and said, "Do you want me to start canceling vendors?" "Not yet. First, I want to know how long this has been happening." Garrett opened his mouth, but Colin cut him off. "Don't say anything. Whatever you admit can be used in court." "Court?" Felicity's voice cracked. Colin turned to her coldly. "Are you aware Hallie and my brother share a joint bank account? Roughly $23,000 of wedding expenses have been paid, including non-refundable deposits. If his infidelity caused this engagement to end, Hallie has grounds to sue for emotional distress and financial damages." Owen held up his camera. "Oh, there's evidence." He'd been quietly shooting, Garrett disheveled, Felicity's tears, the rumpled chaise lounge.
"You're documenting this?" Garrett looked horrified. "For my sister's sake." Imogen appeared in the doorway, breathless. She looked at her sister next to my fiancé and froze. "Felicity? What's happening?" Felicity's face crumpled. "Imogen, please. Why do you look like that?" I stepped forward. "Your sister and Garrett have been having an affair." The clock ticked loudly. Imogen stared at Felicity. "Tell me that's not true." Felicity couldn't meet her eyes. "It's complicated." "Complicated? She's your best friend. You're her maid of honor." "I didn't mean for it to happen," Felicity shouted. "We couldn't help it." That's when I showed them what I'd found. While waiting downstairs, I'd logged into our shared cloud account. Buried in a folder labeled Property Documents, I found screenshots, text conversations between Garrett and Felicity saved as image files. I held up my phone and started reading. Mid-August. Felicity, "Should we tell them before the wedding?" Garrett, "Not yet. I need to make sure the house stays in my name first." Garrett's face went gray. Early September. Garrett, "Hallie signed the prenup without reading it. She trusts me completely. This is too easy." Felicity, "You're terrible, but I love you for it." Colin's expression darkened. "You made her sign a prenup?" Mid-October, I continued. Felicity, "I can't wait until this wedding's over." Garrett, "Just a few more months, then we'll take that honeymoon trip without her." Imogen gasped. "You were planning to leave her after the wedding?" Late October. Garrett, "Once we're married, I'll wait 6 months, then file for divorce. The prenup limits what she gets. Then you leave your sister's place, we get an apartment, and start fresh." Felicity stood. "You're taking those out of context." Am I? Because it looks clear. You were using my wedding as legal cover. Garrett gets marriage protections, waits, then walks away with everything, while I get maybe $15,000. The silence felt suffocating. Owen broke it. That's genuinely evil. Colin pulled out his phone. I'm calling our lawyer. Hallie, don't sign anything and don't let him near joint accounts. Already handled. I froze both accounts earlier. Garrett's head snapped up. You what? I froze our accounts. The bank was understanding when I explained potential marriage fraud. You can't just do that. I can, and I did. For the first time since walking through that door, I smiled. 2 days after New Year's Eve, I started making calls that would dismantle their lives. First, our wedding planner, Monica. I told her everything. She listened in stunned silence. I've been doing this 15 years. I've never seen anything this calculated. Let me handle the vendors. Within hours, she'd notified everyone. Word spread fast. Garrett's name got flagged. Felicity's too. Second, my boss, Dr. Ramona Voss. I explained why I needed to cancel time off. Take all the time you need, and Hallie, document everything. Third, the most satisfying call. I called Garrett's boss at the real estate firm. Mitchell Hayes listened as I explained how Garrett had been using company time to conduct an affair, including fake client meetings. I have text evidence showing he billed clients for hours he spent with his mistress. That afternoon, Garrett called me 17 times. I didn't answer. He left voicemails progressing from apologetic to angry to desperate. I deleted every one.
That same week, Imogen moved out of the apartment she shared with Felicity. She showed up at my place with 2 suitcases and red eyes. I can't look at her, Imogen said. I let her stay in my guest room. The messages Colin helped me recover showed everything. Motel receipts Garrett expensed as client meetings. Afternoons Felicity called in sick but spent with him. Private jokes about how oblivious I was. One message destroyed me. Early December. Felicity. Sometimes I feel guilty about Hallie. She's genuinely good. Garrett. Don't. She'll be fine. She's boring. You're exciting. Boring. But instead of breaking me, it crystallized something. I wasn't boring. I was loyal, trusting, kind. Those weren't weaknesses. A week after New Year's, Colin called with news. The prenup Garrett had you sign? It's not enforceable. I sat up straight. What? He had you sign it less than 2 weeks before the wedding, under pressure, without independent legal counsel. Any judge would throw it out. Plus, with documented evidence of his affair and financial manipulation, you're entitled to significantly more. Relief flooded through me. So the house stays jointly owned. His 401k, you're entitled to a portion. Given his conduct, you have a strong case for emotional distress damages. 6 figures, Hallie. That night, I sent Garrett one text. Your prenup is worthless. My lawyer will be in touch. Don't contact me again. He tried calling immediately. I blocked his number. The fallout spread fast. Felicity got put on administrative review at the hospital after I filed a complaint about falsified time cards. Garrett's firm demoted him after discovering fake billing. He lost his office, his assistant, his commission structure. Within 2 weeks, both their professional reputations were shredded. Felicity's mom called me one evening, crying. I don't understand how she could do this to you. I don't understand either. I told her not to come home for Easter. I can't look at her. Garrett's parents sent me a handwritten apology and a check for $5,000. They cut Garrett off financially. Colin kept me updated. Mom won't speak to him. Dad's furious. Garrett's essentially been disowned. Good, I said. 3 weeks after everything exploded, Felicity tried reaching out with a long email about how sorry she was. I read it once, then forwarded it to my lawyer without responding. Garrett tried a different approach, posting cryptic messages on social media about cancel culture and people refusing to forgive. Owen screenshotted every post and sent them to our lawyer. The posts backfired. People started asking what he'd done. Someone shared the truth. Within days, Garrett's social media became a graveyard of harsh comments. He deleted everything. By mid-January, when our wedding day came and went, I was surrounded by friends and family who actually loved me. We threw an unwedding party at Owen's loft. Pizza, wine, and people who genuinely cared. To Hallie, Owen toasted, who dodged the biggest bullet of her life. Everyone cheered. I looked around at faces that had supported me, my parents, my coworkers, Colin, who'd taken my case personally. These were my people. Garrett and Felicity were not. The settlement negotiations started the last week of January in Colin's downtown office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Garrett showed up looking rough. He'd lost weight. His expensive suits hung looser. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. His lawyer, a thin man named Paul Hendricks, laid out their opening offer.
Mr. Whitmore is willing to split marital assets 50-50. No contest, clean break. Colin didn't even look at the papers. That's insulting. It's more than fair. Fair? Colin leaned back. Your client spent 6 months planning to defraud my client through marriage. He manipulated her into signing an unenforceable prenup. He conducted an affair using company resources. Fair would be criminal charges. Garrett's face went red. I never. You did. Colin opened a thick folder. We have text messages documenting your intent to manipulate the marriage for financial gain. We have proof you falsified billing records. Would you like me to continue? Paul raised a hand. What are you asking for? Colin slid different papers across the table. Full ownership of the house transfers to Miss Brennan. She receives 60% of Mr. Whitmore's 401k. She receives $85,000 in emotional distress damages. Mr. Whitmore signs a legally binding agreement never to contact her again. That's absurd, Paul sputtered. The house alone is worth $340,000, which Miss Brennan helped pay for over 4 years. She's entitled to it, especially given your client's documented misconduct. Colin's voice stayed level. You have 72 hours to respond. Otherwise, we go to trial, and I promise you a jury will be far less generous. Garrett stared at me. Hallie, please, this is insane. We can work this out. Don't address my client directly, Colin snapped. She's my fiancé. Ex-fiancé, I said. And no, Garrett, we can't work this out. You tried to destroy my life. Now you live with the consequences. That was the last time I saw him in person. 48 hours later, Paul called Colin to accept the settlement terms. Garrett signed everything. The house became mine. The money transferred within a week. The no-contact agreement was legally binding. I won. The first week of February, I did something I'd been planning. I posted a detailed account of everything on a private Facebook group for our alumni network. Not for spite, but because people deserved to know who Garrett and Felicity really were. The post went up on a Thursday evening. Within an hour, 50 comments. By midnight, over 200. People who knew them started sharing their own stories. He hit on my girlfriend at a party while you two were dating, one guy wrote. Felicity tried to get with my husband at a hospital fundraiser last year. She told him I was boring in bed. I should have warned you. The stories kept coming. Patterns neither of them had bothered hiding from anyone except me. By Friday morning, the post had been screenshotted and shared beyond our alumni group. It reached Garrett's coworkers, Felicity's nursing colleagues, their extended families. Felicity tried damage control, posting her own statement claiming I was spreading lies, that the affair was a brief mistake. Imogen responded within minutes, posting screenshots of those text messages planning everything. A brief mistake? Try 6 months of calculated betrayal. Stop lying. The post got shared 300 times before Felicity deleted her entire social media. That same week, something unexpected happened.
A woman named Brooke reached out through email. She was 31, worked in hospital administration. We met for coffee on Saturday. Brooke looked nervous, stirring sugar into her latte 3 times. I don't know if this matters now, but Felicity did this before. My heart skipped. What?
3 years ago, I was engaged. My fiancé worked with Felicity at the hospital. They started an affair during my wedding planning. She came to my engagement party. She smiled to my face while sleeping with him behind my back. What happened? I caught them 2 months before my wedding. Called everything off, lost deposits, lost friends. Brooke's voice shook. When I heard what happened to you, I realized she's a pattern. This is what she does. I thanked her and we exchanged information. Over the next few days, 4 more women contacted me, all with similar stories about Felicity targeting their relationships, playing the sweet friend while destroying their lives. I compiled everything into a document: names, dates, patterns, evidence that Felicity was a serial homewrecker who specifically targeted women planning weddings. I sent copies to the hospital's HR department and the state nursing board. The nursing board launched an investigation. Felicity got suspended pending review. By mid-February, both their lives had collapsed. Garrett got fired from the real estate firm after the billing fraud came out. Mitchell escorted him out personally. He tried applying to other firms. His reputation preceded him. No one would touch him. Last I heard, he was working retail at a furniture store. Felicity's nursing license got suspended for 6 months. Without income, she couldn't afford her apartment. She moved back with her parents, who barely spoke to her. Imogen stayed with me another month before finding her own place. She calls me sometimes, Imogen admitted one evening, crying, begging me to forgive her. Do you? No. Imogen chopped vegetables with sharp movements. She didn't just betray you, she betrayed me too. I'll never trust her again. One Friday night in late February, Owen threw a party at his loft to celebrate my official house closing. Everything transferred to my name alone. To Hallie, who owns a house, has money in the bank, and is rid of 2 absolute sociopaths. Everyone cheered. I looked around at 20 people who'd supported me. My parents, my coworkers, Colin, Brooke, and the other women who'd come forward. 2 months ago, I thought my life was ending, but I didn't lose anything real. I lost 2 people who never valued me, and I gained all of you. The applause was deafening. Later that night, I opened my laptop and started writing. Not for revenge, but because other women needed to hear this. I wrote about the warning signs I'd missed, the red flags I'd dismissed, the gut feelings I'd ignored. I wrote about Felicity's pattern of targeting engaged women. I wrote about Garrett's financial manipulation. I finished at 3 a.m., then posted it on a blog I created called The Woman I Became. Within a week, the post went viral. Women shared it thousands of times. "This happened to me," one woman wrote. "Reading your story gave me courage to leave." The blog became something bigger, a community, a space where women could share their stories. By early March, 2 months after New Year's Eve, I'd completely rebuilt my life. I redecorated the house exactly how I wanted it. Bright colors, comfortable spaces, art that made me happy. I got promoted to senior physical therapist with a $12,000 raise. I started dating casually, remembering what it felt like to be valued. I joined a boxing gym, which felt therapeutic. Most importantly, I learned to trust myself again. One Tuesday afternoon in mid-March, I ran into Felicity at a coffee shop. She looked awful. Unwashed hair, lost weight, dark circles made her look 10 years older. She saw me and froze. "Hallie," she whispered, "can we talk, please?" "No." "I just need 5 minutes."
You don't get anything from me, Felicity. Not my time, not my forgiveness, nothing. Her eyes filled with tears. I'm so sorry. I destroyed everything. I hate myself. Good, I said. You should. What you did was unforgivable. I lost everything. My job, my apartment, my family. Actions have consequences. I picked up my coffee. You spent 6 months destroying my life. Now you live in the ruins of your own choices. That's justice. I walked away without looking back. That night, I posted about the encounter on my blog. Forgiveness isn't required, I wrote. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is refuse to absolve people who hurt you intentionally. The post resonated with thousands. By late March, spring arrived and everything felt different. I planted flowers in my front yard, painted my bedroom teal, adopted a rescue dog named Pepper. I hosted dinner parties with real friends, the kind who showed up consistently. Life felt full in a way it never had with Garrett. In early April, Colin called with news. Garrett's trying to sue you for defamation. I laughed. For what? He claims your blog posts damaged his reputation. He damaged his own reputation. Exactly. We'll get it dismissed. Truth is an absolute defense. The lawsuit got dismissed 6 weeks later. The judge called it frivolous and ordered Garrett to pay my legal fees. That check, $8,400, went straight into savings. By summer, 6 months after New Year's Eve, I barely recognized the woman I'd been. That version had been sweet, accommodating, endlessly forgiving. She'd made herself small to avoid conflict. The woman I became was different. She had boundaries like steel walls. She trusted her instincts. She refused to shrink for anyone. She was happy. On July 4th, I threw a party celebrating independence in every sense. Owen brought his girlfriend. Colin brought his family. Imogen came with her roommate. Brooke and the others showed up with wine. We watched fireworks explode over the city, and I felt genuinely content. You know what's wild? Imogen said. If Felicity hadn't done this, you'd be married to Garrett right now, trapped. She was right. If I'd never caught them, I'd be living a lie, married to a man who thought I was boring, surrounded by fake friends. Instead, I owned a house, had money in the bank, built a community, created a blog helping thousands of women. They did me a favor, I said. They destroyed the life I thought I wanted and forced me to build the life I actually needed. Cheers to that, Owen said. Later that night, alone with Pepper, I looked up Garrett's social media one last time. He'd posted a vague quote about second chances. The comments were brutal. You didn't make a mistake. You made calculated choices. Some people don't deserve second chances. I closed the app and deleted it. He wasn't worth the mental space. As I'm telling you this now, almost a year has passed since that New Year's Eve. Garrett's still working retail, still single, still trying to rebuild a shattered reputation. Felicity got her license reinstated after ethics training, but works at a clinic an hour away where no one knows her. She's still living with her parents. I'm still here, still running my blog, still helping women recognize manipulation. My house is exactly what I wanted. My career is thriving. My relationships are genuine. Most importantly, I trust myself completely. I know what red flags look like. I know what real love feels like. That New Year's Eve could have destroyed me. Instead, it rebuilt me into someone stronger. So if you're listening and you're in a relationship that feels wrong, trust that feeling. If someone's behavior doesn't match their words, believe the behavior. You deserve better than someone who treats you like an obstacle. You deserve better than someone who laughs at your trust. And if you don't have that person yet, be that person for yourself. Build a life you're proud of. Trust your instincts, even when it means walking away from everything you thought you wanted. That's what I learned holding that brass key on New Year's Eve. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is watching everything fall apart, because that's when you finally get to build something real. My story isn't about revenge, it's about rebirth. It's about discovering that the person you become after betrayal can be stronger than who you were before. And that's a gift no one can take away. If this story resonated with you, please hit that like button and subscribe. I share new stories every day, real experiences from real people. Drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and what time it is there. I love connecting with all of you. Check the links in my description if you want to support the channel. 2 of my most popular stories should be appearing on your screen now, so keep the journey going. Take care of yourselves, trust your instincts, and remember, on this channel, I share real stories that'll keep you hooked start to finish. If you subscribe and hit that like button, it genuinely helps me create more content like this. I'll see you in the next one.